10 cents is still my price target. But here's the thing. What I like about Zebec is that they're continuing to improve in a sense that they're really pushing the idea and, this narrative of the Zebec cards, which many people out there at first thought it was boring, including me. But when I considered how much effort Zebec is putting into this, it is really something that, in my opinion, could really be something massive for it during a fully fledged born. Because just think about this, right? Not too long ago, it was reported that there was a new token integration, which is MAG, right? It's like the ticker symbol is MAG. But even besides that, it's on the Zebec Silver card. Now, I've never heard about MAG, and I probably will never care about it. But you know what? Doesn't matter, because it shows that when we see new token integrations when it comes to the Zebec cards, and not to mention when we see just new things pop up and kind of have good news surrounding that, that's amazing, because that's, again, the main thing that Zebec is pushing, at least as of right now that I'm seeing. And when I see more things happening to the main thing that they're focused on, of course, it's going to be good, right? If the main thing that they were focused on wasn't really doing much, then that's bad news. But it's not, right? Hypothetically, in theory. So I do like this. And we have to think about why Zebec, really, I think, is beginning to showcase that, it's a very special project, because the Zebec card, it's powered by MasterCard, right? And also, allegedly is compatible with Apple Pay and Google Pay. And, that's really good right there. Now, is Zebec the only project out there kind of doing this? Nah, not really. I mean, there's a bunch of projects out there doing that, even name coins. But I'm just saying, I do like it because it gives something to grasp onto during a fully fledged born, because we got to think about this, right? If a project, something like ZBCN, which highly is regarded as a solid alternative to something like, XRP or XLM, if it's regarded in that, way, I would say, there needs to be something to latch onto beyond just being somewhat of a watered down version of XRP and XLM, right? So then this right here is something that really gives it more, I would say a grip, to the project. Not to mention as well, I like Zebec's direction in which it's focused on AI-based PayFi, because the hype for AI, let's face it, I think is going to enter in a massive way hypothetically, even though when it comes to the quality of AI projects, even despite it, historically doing pretty good, it's not the best, right? It's not that good. AI, when it comes to these crypto type of projects, they're not really polished yet, and adoption really isn't the best whatsoever. I'm not saying like AI generally speaking, but I'm just saying like these AI type of crypto projects that really haven't done much for the most part, but they still gain a lot of attention anyways. So even though, again, that is kind of the case, in my opinion, this is actually good news, because people as of right now, nowadays, they care more so about anticipated adoption. They care more so about, like what something could be. So when I take a look at Zebec having that aspect of AI, arguably, because it is focused on AI-based payment finance, or for short, it's AI-based PayFi, that's good. And I think could very well play into the narrative of the hype for AI during a fully fledged bull run, even though the quality of projects when it comes to these AI type of projects really isn't, arguably the best as of right now. But even beyond that, Zebec also, of course, because by nature is very similar to something like Ripple and Stellar, it's focused on the payments market and the global trade and finance market. This is also on the rise, hypothetically. The payments market currently valued at over $2 trillion, and the global trade and finance market is predicted to reach up to $5 trillion in value by 2028, according to Mordor Intelligence. So that's very amazing right there. Not to mention, when we take a look at Zebec, has aspects of payroll. Circle, which is the creator of USDC, hypothetically, believe it or not, is one of the investors in Zebec. So that's fantastic. Also Solana Ventures. And here's the thing. When it comes to Solana Ventures being one of their, investors, allegedly, this is something that I like, because we take a look at Zebec's very close ties to Solana. I think anything really benefiting Solana is going to indirectly benefit something like Zebec. So this is what I do love. Not to mention as well, I actually, forgot to mention this in the earlier part when I was talking about the cards, the Zebec cards, and actually allegedly supports 12 blockchains. I mean, 12, that's very impressive. Now, some people may be thinking, oh, this other card supports this many blockchains, whatever. But I think when it comes to Zebec, it's heading in the right direction, in my opinion. It's not the biggest project out there, but it's at least doing something, But even besides that point, when we take a look at the idea, right, of 10 cents, some people may think that, oh, it's a little bit bearish. Some people may think it's a little bit too optimistic, but I'm going to address the too optimistic part because I don't think it is hypothetically too optimistic, because even though I cannot guarantee anything, even though I can't look into the future, what I do know is that historically, we've seen some very caca projects do very good and kind of exceed the market cap that ZBCN would have if it were to go to the price of 10 cents, which at that point would actually be nearly $8 billion. That's around a 50x from here, by the way. But even besides that, take a look at some nonsense, right, in the past, doing very well. I'm not talking about Terra Luna or whatever, but I'm just saying, let's take a look at Dogecoin. That back in 2021 reached over $80 billion in market cap. Shiba Inu that year reached around $40 billion. Are we saying around $8 billion is too much to ask for this time around with this many more crypto owners, right? With, arguably having double the amount of crypto owners currently when compared to the peak of the 2021 bull run. Also, not to mention, with the hype when it comes to Solana being very amazing, when it comes to the hype for the Bitcoin ETF, the Ethereum ETF, the number of institutional investors, the amount of enterprise adoption. This doesn't seem too far-fetched, in my opinion. Now, I get it. When it comes to ZBCN, it may not have the most fans and the most hype, but it really does remind me of an up-and-coming XRP and XLM. So if I missed out on XRP and XLM, why would I be jumping up and down and regretting the past? Because I cannot change the past, right? I cannot take a look into the future, and I can't change the past. So what can I focus on as of right now? It's the present. And by being focused on the present, I would rather just, understand what I did in the past and hypothetically just believe in projects in which I do believe could maybe be a game changer. And I think ZBCN arguably could be a game changer. So far, I haven't been wrong when it comes to ZBCN because take a look at it, right? The price did have a pretty good hypothetical pump, but I'm just saying, I think there are better days ahead because, again, 10 cents still around a 50x from here. Still ways to go there. I'm still going to be accumulating, holding, and just waiting. The way I view it is that now it's just a waiting game because we're currently around a year removed from the last Bitcoin halving event, but really, historically speaking, altcoins, they typically peak as a worst case scenario around a year and a half after a Bitcoin halving event. So if we add half a year from right now, that's actually around October this year. Now, will history repeat itself? Who knows? Only time will tell. But with the way Bitcoin is heading as of right now, with the way altcoins are beginning to have a good recovery, if this continues on for a number of months leading up till, near the end of this year, that figure, or should I say that date, right, really wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. And I just don't see why not. But it's just a waiting game at this point. I'm going to stay patient, continue to accumulate more hold. And 10 cents, that wouldn't surprise me whatsoever when it comes to ZBCN. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. Greatly appreciate it. It's been Lee the Captain, and I'll catch you all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.